The year was 1977. Jimmy Carter was president. Star Wars was in movie theaters. Charlie's Angels on TV. And on the radio, they were everywhere.
Listen to the wind blow, watch the sun rise.
Fleetwood Mac. To many, they defined a decade with their landmark record, Rumors. Now the rumors are true. The group has reunited, out with its first CD of new songs in 16 years. And Keith Morrison tells us the band's easy rolling rock has a brand new edge.
Loving you isn't the right thing to do.
They're in a rented studio on a practice stage, washed in the thumping decibels of a 25-year-old hit, and there it is, framed in gray, wreathed in wrinkles, pure joy. Fleetwood Mac is back again.
You can go your own way. Go your own way. You can call it another lonely day.
If anybody can make a case for hanging in there when you just want to go your own way, when you're left, let down, fed up, then here they are, rock's latest middle-age resurrection. Older, wiser, and relatively happy, or so they say.
Is rock and roll still rock and roll without the sex and drugs?
Pretty much.
John? I'm not touching that.
If anyone knows about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, it's Fleetwood Mac. The story, in case you missed it, started when a British band, Mick Fleetwood and John and Christine McVie, were looking for a guitar player and heard about the talented but so far unsuccessful Lindsey Buckingham, whose girlfriend Stevie Nicks was working odd jobs to keep food on the table.
I cleaned my producer's house twice a week, and he paid me $250 a month for that.
That was after their first attempt at recording had flopped.
I was never going to make Lindsey go get a job because he's too much of an artist. I could do a stupid job, and it didn't bother me. It would have bothered him.
But then came that offer, and Fleetwood Mac was a whole new creation. Right away, says Lindsey Buckingham, everyone could see.
Fleetwood Mac is nothing else if not a band of chemistry.
They caught the moment back there in the 70s. They were almost instantly huge. By 1975, they were swimming in money and constant attention and booze and just about everything else.
You see people walking around with bottles of designer water now. It was like, you know, in those days, people just walked around with bottles of designer Coke.
What did it do to you ultimately?
I think it took away sensitivity. I think it took away the ability to love. I think it took away the ability to feel comfortable in a room. It just changed everybody completely.
And that's when things started to go very bad.
It is a very unstable and tricky way to live your life. We were living out our lives for everybody to see.
And so everybody knew when Christine left John McVie. But that was just the start of it. It was soap opera. Stevie dumped Lindsey, Mick's wife walked out, and just as they were recording the album, Rumors.
Oh, now you know that your dreams run wild. Love's a state of mind.
Rumors became the third biggest selling album in the history of music. Amazing they survived long enough to make it, says Mick.
It was unbelievable, but it also became a sort of a mutant form of bonding because we truly were going through all of the same things at the same time.
And then, to make things just about as complicated as they could be, Mick had a fling with Stevie. But there they were on stage, every day, together. Their feelings as raw as the songs they wrote.
Fleetwood Mac!
They won the Grammy for Rumors, an album full of songs about pain, the pain they were going through.
You can go your own way.
When Stevie Nicks heard Lindsey's hit, Go Your Own Way, it was, and for that matter still is, personal.
That was Lindsey's angry song to me. And you see, Whereas then I would write Dreams, which would say, when the rain washes you clean, you'll know. That's my romantic way of leaving the relationship. And Lindsey's, very, unromantic way of leaving the relationship was to write a song where he was not very nice to me in the song.
Packing up, shacking up's all you want to do.
It was a little sarcastic.
A little.
Just a little. Packing up, shacking up's all you want to do. I mean, I was calling a spade, you might say. There was no pulling of punches lyrically in that song.
You see your gypsy.
The band broke up soon after that chaotic decade was over, but couldn't seem to leave each other for good, though the reconciliations were usually bumpy and sometimes angry.
Tell me lies, tell me sweet little lies.
By 1987, when Lindsey walked out on the eve of a world tour, it seemed as final as anything could be, a way for him to get away from her.
None of us really had closure in a proper way. That was another reason I left, was to finally get closure on Stevie, I had been technically apart from her for 10 years, but was seeing her every day.
We were furious. We were furious.
They didn't speak for years. Each of them went on to a solo career of sorts. Stevie became very famous in her own right, and that was a problem.
I think that that's been the hardest part of this whole thing. Because the second that people started to single me out, it caused trouble in the group.
But it's funny how other people's choices, the mere chance of a stranger's whim, can make such a difference. The phone call from a new president changed everything.
Come on, Lindsey, we have to do this. We really do. This is important. This is history.
1993, Bill Clinton's inauguration, Don't Stop, had been his campaign song.
Stop! Sir, would you join us, please?
And that, as much as anything, is what started to turn things around. That, and says Mick Fleetwood, a little maturity.
We're just working away at being guys and girls, really, bunch of grown-up children.
Who have survived.
Who have survived, yeah.
5 years ago, Fleetwood Mac was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Nearly 2 years ago, they began to work on a new CD, Say You Will, released just yesterday. 18 brand new songs.
Say you will, give me one more chance.
And next month, like an old married couple that's been tossed about and bruised by the worst of human foibles and somehow still survived, next month they start a brand new tour. First stop, May 7th, Columbus, Ohio.
When we say, we love you, Columbus, they don't know how much we really mean it. Thank God we're here.
They are grateful, they say, to have survived it all, given what they've been through. And now, without the fog of the drugs and the alcohol, they feel more creative than ever. And they say they play better, too. The amazing thing is, or so they claim, it's actually more fun.
Did you really enjoy it that much?
Yeah, love it. Absolutely love it. It's the 9-year-old child that made his mind up that he wanted to be a drummer. And that's still there.
To be 57 and still doing this, it's miraculous.
Once I'm up there on the stage, I really don't feel like I'm in my 50s. If you want to recapture your youth, that's a good way to do it.
It appears to me that destiny rules, that the spirits are ruthless with a past they choose. It's not being together, just following the rules no one's approved.
If you're a Fleetwood Mac fan, you may have noticed one member missing from the reunion, keyboard player Christine McVie. Now living in England, she decided to sit this one out.